What do successful agents do better than anyone else? Now, if you're thinking about the definition of a successful agent, it's obviously going to boil down to something like gross commission income. So what do successful agents do in terms of gross commission income that's different to others? Now, again, if you're thinking about it, gross commission income means that you are settling and exchanging more than anyone else. So how do you get to a point where you're settling and exchanging more than anyone else? Well, again, if you go back a step, that means that at some point in time you are therefore listing more so that you can sell more. Now, we're putting aside the fact that certain agents deal in higher end properties and so on, and others may not, but putting aside those sorts of details, it's fair to say that the successful agents out there are settling and exchanging more, therefore earning more, and therefore have more listings. So we're really focusing here on listings, and you could even say that successful agents list more. Simple statement. Now, about 30 years ago, Thomas Moylan and Stephen Duke wrote a book called List and Last, and that book became a seminal sort of text for aspiring agents for quite a while. It always struck me, however, when you looked at the long title of that book, which said List and Last, if you don't list, you won't last. It's rather a negative message, and it was more sort of along the lines of survive than thrive. Now, more modern agents in the looking around at this point in time, they have a more positive mantra. Their mantra sounds something like list well, will sell. And implicit in that sort of maxim is that if you list the property well, and that includes, of course, making sure that the vendor is motivated, making sure that the vendor is aware of the market, educating the vendor. There's a lot goes into that little phrase, list well, will sell. But assuming you got that right and you've been authentic and you've not bought the listing, you've been forthright and frank and accurate in your approaches and your appraisal and so forth, you're going to sell more properties through that sort of listing, and or they will sell faster. So we really are looking at the sort of the listing process. Now, whether you're using digital technology, and when I refer to digital technology and CRM machines, or whether you're using sort of more traditional technology, really shouldn't matter. On the one end, we've got people like Sarah Bell, who is the co-founder of a company called Air Software, which uses artificial intelligence very, very productively to drive prospecting results. And there's no doubt that those sorts of modern, digital-based, artificial intelligence-oriented approaches are extremely efficient. Or you might be sort of more along the lines of an authentic handwritten card with a lick-it-stick-it stamp that's posted to somebody as a follow-up. Equally powerful, in fact, arguably even more powerful in the modern world, because an old-fashioned greeting card with a handwritten address and a message has a 100% open rate compared to other technologies which often get deleted or passed over. And those sorts of technologies also hang around longer. People often will hold a greeting card and show it to families and friends and neighbors and so forth. And we're talking, rather than minutes and hours of sort of being around and being top of mind, older technology can sometimes hang around for days and weeks. So it doesn't matter whether we're committed to modern technology or to more traditional technology. Basically, a successful agent is going to find the selection of tools, prospecting tools that suits them. Prospecting is an art. There's no question that it's more of an art than a science. And everyone's methodology is going to be different, because everyone is different, and the way you come across and the way you communicate is going to be different. So whatever technologies and processes suit you, you must identify them. And it's a quest. It's an ongoing quest. You'll find that successful agents understand that the result of a listing would have begun much earlier, and it begins with finding relationships, identifying relationships, and nurturing those relationships. And those relationships should therefore ultimately yield a listing. Now, it's not a 100% success rate, because we're relying on other people's decisions, not just our own efforts and decisions. But if you have the mindset that listings is all about finding and nurturing relationships in whatever technology is available, then more than likely you are going to end up being one of the successful agents as opposed to those that struggle, because gross commission income is only the end result. What happens in between is transacting, and what happens before that is finding the listing to secure in the first place. So we'll leave you with these thoughts that successful agents, it's not necessarily a place that you end up in. It's essentially an ongoing journey. And that ongoing journey of successful agents based on gross commission income is really an ongoing quest to keep on top of the most efficient and suitable methods of finding relationships, building those relationships, and in the words of Sarah Bell, finding convertible relationships, relationships that you can convert into a listing and then ultimately join the ranks of these successful agents. My name is Craig Swan on behalf of Leverage Academy. If you have any comments and queries about today's presentation, I'd love to hear from you. You can get me on Instagram at Craig_Leverage Group, or you can reach me through an email, craigs@leveragegroup.com.au. I sincerely wish you all the very, very best. Take care, and as always, happy hunting.